Okay, on a roll here with part B. This is from my journaling of September 2nd, 2010. This is the second of that day. Mayan day 8 storm. It's interesting. The other one must have been before dawn. Okay, the O series, part B. And this is intermediate exercises in vision. This isn't for beginners. Can you do anything that's wrong? Scolded back into heart. Oh boy, what have I said here? Okay, back to our proposition under examination. You cannot do anything that is wrong. Back into heart, please. Don't even bother with mind, who would have a real field day with this. Stick to heart, that is, if you want to go on this trip with us. Moving on. So, you cannot do anything that is wrong. What is meant by this? On the surface, it sounds very strange. Mind comes up instantly with any number of arguments, showing you how you could very well do some terribly wrong things. Ignore that. Just look away. Remember, you can take up mind's way later, again. If you try to do it now, however, the net result is that you are kicked out of heart. Mind and heart don't mix in this context. Don't think about that proposition either. Just don't think. That's what's called for here. Just for a few moments, don't think. Or rather, just look away from thought. Mind cannot be completely silenced at any time. To me, it's a total waste of time to try to silence it. Just look away. Come on, how easy is that? Forget all the mental or spiritual gymnastics. Just ignore the damn thing. Give it permission to be, and to be what it is. Mind is just mind, and all minds think, okay? No big deal. You don't have to participate in all of its thoughts. Now, yes, I know that's a terribly new proposition to some, that mind can go on thinking without you participating. Well, two things. First, it gets immediately back to your definition of you. Now, doesn't it? Do you see this? Who are you? Are you that body there? Are you the mind? If you've defined yourself that way, then you'll have the deuce of a time with this. It will seem a big challenge when it isn't. You're not that. But anyway, there are other journals aplenty on that sort of thing. Let's get back to center here, looking again at our proposition. You can't do anything that is wrong. Okay, the you part we just looked at. You can't be identified with mind to do this, to take this trek. The oft-used idea of Einstein holds up well here. One can't resolve something by staying on the same level with it. You rise up or you don't solve it. Not well. Period. So, if you're having a big problem with this proposition, with just looking into it, then you're probably identified with your mind. Time to center in heart. Let that go. Just go within. Okay, we've looked at the you and realized that it's a higher thing than just the physicality of the you that's here in 3D. The body-mind thing. That's not you. You observe that. You pre-exist that. There was a you before there was that body you wear. You came before. Therefore, it isn't you. It can't be. It just contains an essence, an aspect of you. Moving on. Let's look at the wrongdoing part. What of that? Well, we must define right and wrong first, mustn't we? Ah, yes, we do step away at that. That's a good way to get the hands burned, or at least singed, handling that concept, isn't it? Ah, this is not for the faint of heart. Let's enter into it then, right and wrong. What are these? I propose that they are categories of and contained within mind, most likely exclusively. I don't see that they have an existence outside of the mind. We're leaving the blame game behind. I mention this in so many of my journals, how as we rise in consciousness, in vibration or frequency or awareness, however you want to call it, we leave polarity behind. Right and wrong is apart with left and right, in and out, up and down, hot and cold, any of the dualities or polarities you'd care to mention. As we rise up in awareness, we see that rather than fighting or being set against one another, these are more like the two sides of one coin. They are joined. It doesn't matter that they seem to be opposites. They're not. They're yin and yang. They're part of the whole. Okay then. What does that do for our initial proposition? You cannot do anything that is wrong. Does it begin to make a different sort of sense for you now? Are you seeing it from heart space? That's where you find the best light, the best illumination on such a subject, inside the heart. What does wrongness look like from this heart perspective? Where is it to be found? Do we see it anywhere from our perch in the heart? I don't find it. Let's look then at the greatest wrongness we can conjure up and see if it finds space in the heart with us. Let's look at the crucifixion of Christ. Most in the world would, without even a thought, call that wrong, deeply wrong, right? Okay, now stay in heart with me here. That is vital. Don't go off into the mind in any way, not into religion or any such philosophy or thing. We're just looking from heart space, observing this event in history. And let me say, for those among us who perhaps don't believe that Jesus was a real historical figure, that doesn't matter in the least here. We're just taking the worst thing we can call to mind and look at that. Let there be no religious or philosophical or any such consideration put upon this. We're just calling to mind the picture of the crucifixion of one considered one of us, if not the greatest light to ever embody on earth. So we let all the emotional, religious, philosophical, or other baggage just fall away. We let it drop and merely turn away from it back to the stark event we are considering.